Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? I see none. Approval amendment of meeting agenda. We have an amendment. I'd like to amend. Can I get a mover? Councillor Jiguer and Councillor Charlebois.
Moved by Councillor Jiguer, seconded by Councillor Charlebois, that the meeting agenda is amended to include the following item: 10F, bylaw number 375823, repeal bylaw number 309910.
All in favor? Carried. Can I get a mover and seconder to approve the meeting? Councillor Jiguer and Councillor Charlebois.
Moved by Councillor Jiguer, seconded by Councillor Charlebois, that the meeting agenda is approved as amended.
All in favor? Carried. For minute meetings, can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Tremblay and Councillor Jiguer.
Moved by Councillor Tremblay, seconded by Councillor Jiguer, that the following minutes are hereby adopted. Regular meeting, September 25th, 2023. Special meeting, October 23rd, 2023. Special meeting, November 13th, 2023. Committee of the Whole, November 13th, 2023. Special meeting, November 13th, 2023. Emergency meeting, November 17th, 2023.
Is there any comments or questions? All in favor? Carried. Business arising from the minutes is nil. We have a public hearing. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Tremblay and Councillor Jiguer.
Moved by Councillor Tremblay, seconded by Councillor Jiguer, that council opens the public hearing to hear comments respecting the following: application for consent, Andy Roshett, file number B0823.
All in favor? Carried. The purpose of this public hearing is to receive comments for an application for consent to sever land. If a person or public body files an appeal of the decision of council with respect to the proposed consent and does not make written submission to the town of River Falls before it refuses to give consent to the Ontario Land Tribunal, may dismiss the appeal.
The application for consent was submitted by Andy Roshett to sever and convey a portion of concession 2 SPT lot 11, PCL 9469 SEC, Walker Township, to create a new lot.
Do we have any written submission?
We do.
Can you read it,
I'll
please?
read it. So this is a submission from Ontario Northland regarding the application for consent. We acknowledge receipt of the public notice regarding the above referenced application for consent. Ontario Northland Transportation Commission has now had the opportunity to review and has the following comments. ONTC has a rail right-of-way in proximity of the subject property. This letter will serve as notice to the applicant that the operation of the railway will produce noise and vibration. The applicant will not be entitled to make any complaint or claim against ONTC for nuisance or otherwise relating to the operation of the railway in proximity to the subject property. There may be alterations to or expansion of the rail facilities on such right-of-way in the future, including the possibility that ONTC may expand its operation. Notwithstanding the inclusion of any noise and vibration attenuating measures, ONTC will not be responsible for any complaints or claims arising from operations on, over, and under the rail right-of-way. Given the proximity of the property to the ONTC main line, we are requesting that the enclosed guidelines for development in proximity to Ontario Northland Railway operations be considered in planning applications for future development of the property. Finally, we would ask that you kindly advise the applicant that, as a result of the sightlines, ONTC would not permit the installation of a private grade crossing along Reese Road. As such, any entry onto the severed property would need to be via Clark's Road. Yours truly, Lindy Cicolo, Legal Counsel.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience or online who would like to make a comment? I see none. If anyone present wishes to notify in writing of the decision, you must make a written request to the Deputy Clerk, Maureen Reader. So to close the public hearing portion, I need a mover and a seconder. Councilor Tremblay and Councilor Charlebois.
Moved by Councillor Tremblay, seconded by Councillor Charlebois, that council hereby closes the public hearing portion of the meeting.
All in favor? Carried. So move on the delegations. For the delegations, you have up to 10 minutes. I'll give you at 8 minutes, I'll give you a 2-minute warning. So if you want to come to the podium, Mrs. Code. Thank you.
You have to break the ice.
Yeah.
It's fun. Okay, so thank you, Mayor Delory and Councilors Charlebois, Daguerre, and Tremblay for allowing us to speak. And we'd love to say hi to all of the department heads, but I'm going to get mixed up with everybody's name. Oh, I do know you all. Okay, so thank you for allowing the Niagara Falls Arts Council to make this presentation. Now, Maureen had given us a deadline of having our letter submitted, and we almost at the deadline, Maureen. A few minutes late, okay. And so you've had a letter from us already, and I didn't want to repeat the same thing that's already in the letter. So these are just some extra comments since you've already read the letter. Two of my fellow directors are with me, James Raw. You want to say hi, James? James is our new director, new in town, and Ken Buer. James is going to speak a little bit after I speak, specifically about the economic benefits of the arts. Ken is here for moral support. Okay, so the Niagara Falls Arts Council is an umbrella organization for the arts in our community. We want to promote all the diverse arts. We want to be the voice of the arts in the community, because the arts enrich our everyday lives. But as James is going to say, he's also going to talk about the economic benefits of the arts, because as well. The vision of the Niagara Falls Arts Council is to foster a community that embraces the arts. Being an arts-friendly community makes the community more vibrant and more attractive to new people who might want to settle here. The Niagara Falls Arts Council was reestablished in 2019. We've applied for and been awarded grants for various projects, such as an Ontario Arts Council grant to provide free courses and workshops for seniors. We got a Special Initiatives Fund grant from North Claybelt to create a promotional video for the Niagara Falls Arts Council and for the town. It promotes the Arts Council, but also promotes a lot of good things happening in the town. And I wanted to thank Mr. Greenway for getting it onto the town website. Thank you. Okay, I know just recently we've been awarded another grant from the Ontario Arts Council to create a mural on the wall of the Lion's Den. It's going to be in a very visible location. Everybody a lot of people use that post office, so it'll be in a nice spot. So we apply for these grants to provide services to the community, artistic services. In September, we organized a studio tour, and there's a brochure about the studio tour on the table at the back. We partnered with the library. Their main employee, I'm sorry, I've forgotten her name. She really helped us with putting the brochure together, and that was really well done. So we had this studio tour. A lot of people didn't know at first what a studio tour was, but we explained it, and participants were able to tootle around the area, visiting local artisans in their studios. And an event such as this doesn't really generate a lot of income, a lot of money, but it's very valuable for promoting local artisans, which is what we want to do. We want to promote the arts and promote our artisans. The activities we engage in grow out of the relationship we have with the community that we serve. An example would be a theater group that we're helping launch right now. One of the very, very first things we did as an arts council was a dinner theater. We didn't have a theater group, so we hired Take Two Theater from students to come, and we paid them. But we always felt it would be nice to have our own theater company here in Niagara Falls. Lots and lots of small communities have really vibrant theater groups. So that's always been in the back of our mind. And recently we've had people asking us about a theater group, so we're getting it launched. We had a first meeting, an inaugural meeting of a fledgling theater group this week. No, it was last week. Sorry, it's only Monday. Last week. And the people who came were really keen. They talked about all the things we could offer. And so our role as an arts council will be to incubate this group and help it grow. We want to partner with other groups. We partnered with Access Transit and with the Manor Redevelopment Fund to put on that dinner theater I was just talking about. And we were all set to do that again every year. People said that was so much fun going out, having a show and a dinner and a show. Let's do it again. But then pandemic happened. So the pandemic kind of put everything on hold. The service activities that we provide for the community do not generate a lot of income. But we do have fundraisers, cooked a lot of burgers during the Canada Day. And we've got a Rosewood Avenue Christmas concert coming up. So that'll be a definite fundraiser. But many of our activities do not generate income. Well, we do it as a service to the community. And we need an employee to cover all of the administrative jobs that need to be done. And one problem that we're having is that NOHFC will fund an intern, but there's bridging that needs to be done because there's a gap between when the employee starts and when the funding arrives. So we need bridge funding as well for that. Having financial support from our municipal town council is very, very valuable. Funders such as the Ontario Arts Council, they want to see that in any application that we put in to them, they're checking to see if we have support from the municipality. And I'll just throw in one thing that was in the, do I know how much time I have? I don't want to use up 6 minutes. Oh, I'm at 6 minutes right now?
You have 4 minutes left.
Okay, I have to make sure I have time for this. When, as soon as we got the funding last year, we contacted the Ontario Arts Council and they were said, that's super, that's really great, I want to see that. And the very next application was one for the mural. And we got it. We got that grant. And I'm positive. In fact, I checked with a program advisor and I said, was that leverage from the money we got from the town? And then we got this grant from Ontario Arts Council and he said, yes. So you gave us a $5,000 grant. We got a $10,000 grant from OAFP. So it was money well spent. Okay, so I'll be quiet now. Now it's James' turn.
Come on up, James. Thank you.
Quite brief then. So the annual GDP for Ontario in regards to arts has increased from 3.3% from 2017 to 3.5%. So through COVID, one of the initial components of that was that the arts were being spent by people who didn't have time to travel, didn't have time to go see performances. So what they did was they bought paintings, they bought sculptures, they bought things to house, to keep in their houses. And in that sense, Canada, by Statistics Canada, that is, has seen an increase in international interest in regards to Canadian arts, as well as domestic interest and demand. In this regard, it can hopefully expand to municipality interest, and municipality increases. It's attractive, not necessarily in regards to business, but potentially in regards to residential. Have people make their money in Timmins, but want to live here. It's beautiful. It's nice. It has performances. It has restaurants. It has galleries and things to purchase. It has history. So while it's not necessarily funding in regards to, say, mining or timber, it can be an interest in regards to attracting people to come as a recreational and to pay their tax money here, to buy a house here, to want to spend it here, not necessarily as an investment or business, but residentially, which I think is more important in regards to people's lives and their concern. As far as that is, I don't really have much else to say except that there is growth in Canadian art both domestically, which is the most important, but also internationally in regards to interest. And hopefully as that grows, this town and area can see that occur and encourage. Part of the reason why I moved up here was because the group of seven made it up here. And in this area. And it's quite interesting that there's not enough focus on this thing. Recreationally and as in regards to tourism. It's quite a big opportunity that I don't necessarily think is being taken advantage of. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add, really.
Very good, Jim. Thank you.
So council will ask a few questions and I
Yes.
just want to.
Yes.
Any councilors have any questions at this time? Go ahead, Councilor Trombley.
I see, Mrs. Cote, you're asking for the same amount as last year,
Yes,
basically.
yes, that was in the letters.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, standing on his line.
Okay.
Yeah, that's,
Thank you.
I appreciate all the hard work you've been doing throughout the community
we want to, we know how important it is for
Yeah.
the community.
and just recruiting professionals to our community too. It does help with doctors,
Absolutely.
their children and lawyers. and so
There's research on that by the Ontario Arts Council. That if you've got a professional person who can live anywhere, they're going to choose a community that has good leisure activities and good leisure and artistic activities. If they've got a choice, that's where they'll go. So it's money well spent when you invest in the arts.
Okay. Any other questions? So, okay, thank you very much for your presentation. And now we'll have the Chamber of Commerce President, Justin.
So good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, and guests. My name is Justice Lorette, and I'm the president of the York Falls Chamber of Commerce. I'm addressing you this evening to request a non-repayable loan for up to $10,000 for 1 year from the town of York Falls. To convince you of the merits of our request, I am very pleased to provide you with an overview of the growth we've experienced in 2023, our plans for 2024, and the manner in which the granted funds will be utilized. 2023 was an exciting year for the Chamber. We have had the opportunity to return to hosting our usual in-person events, including our Food Hop, Small Business Week, The Amazing Race, and Late Night Madness, as well as a gala-style event for our annual general meeting, which was well received by the public. Through these events, we continue to support the business community and provide professional development opportunities for their growth. The most significant change to our organization is our newly opened public office at 254 Main Street, formerly Relics Home Decor. This is an important milestone for the Chamber, as we hadn't been open to the public since we operated the bowling alley in 2019. This new space allows us to welcome our new and existing members into the office, as well as the general public for business information. 2024 will be an exciting year for our organization. As some of you may know, the Chamber was incorporated in 1924, which means that we will be hosting our 100th annual general meeting in April of the coming year. With such an important milestone, we plan to offer an exceptional annual general meeting to our members and the public. 2024 will definitely be a year of success, growth, and celebration for the Chamber, and we hope that the town will be a part of it. As of November 17th, 2023, the Chamber's profit and loss report year to date is as follows. Our income is $55,712.13. Our expenses are $55,119.59 for a profit of $592.54. It is clear that we have been able to turn a profit on our operations thus far, and this is thanks to the support from the town, as well as our members and the community, who continue to support our ongoing efforts to better the business community. The Chamber would not be operable without a full-time intern. We rely on their skills to ensure that our members are receiving the best possible benefits and support, as well as their fundraising abilities to help sustain our operations. While we do receive a grant from NOHFC for 90% of the intern's wages and MERP, we must still cover the other 10% out of pocket. The town grant would help to offset these costs so that we may further contribute to our members and events. We are in that gray area between being too small to be able to pay for staff to assist in coordinating our many programs and too big to accomplish our goals and maintain all of our projects and activities strictly with volunteers. As previously mentioned, the Chamber now resides in a public office space. The space comes with rent charges, however, which will present some cost constraints. Prior to this office space, our former president and current vice president, Stephanie Delorier, graciously provided us with an office space in her dance studio at no cost to the chamber. Recently, however, we opted to move into the business space on the main floor of the same building in order to be open to the public and to allow Stephanie to have her space back. The rent for the space is $350 per month for a total of $4,200 per year. While this expense is feasible with our income, it does limit our spending abilities for events and benefits as we try to keep the costs reasonable for our members. The town's contributions would help to offset these expenses and show their support for our ability to be open and accessible to the public. As many of you are already aware, the Chamber rolled out a new and improved tiered membership program in January of this year. This shifted the focus from the number of full-time employees the business has to a more personalized approach, allowing our members to choose the level of benefit the organization wants and needs. This has been well received by our members, and we only continue to grow and improve our membership benefit. The Chamber now has 3 committees: a membership relations committee, a digital presence committee, and our newly established business advocacy committee. These committees allow our group of volunteers to have a clear focus on what matters most. The Business Advocacy Committee was formed to act as a voice for the business community, especially at the provincial and federal levels of government. The Chamber is also in the process of brainstorming new ideas and initiatives for the coming years, and our focus for 2024 will be on expanding the support we provide to the business community. Our membership income has increased since introducing the tiered memberships, and it has been a well-received program. We want our members to be proud of their chamber and to feel supported in their operations. We have increased our level of recognition through Member of the Month segments, monthly newsletter features, proud member certificates and decals, as well as business anniversary recognition, all providing a level of exposure to the public. We value each and every one of our members and are proud to have them be a part of our chamber. What has the chamber done for the community this past year, you might ask? This list is extensive, and upon request, we can provide you with a detailed summary, so I will mention but a few of our past year's successes. Our 2022 Christmas parade drew hundreds of spectators who enjoyed watching the 31 floats. The parade helped set the mood and pace for a great holiday season. Plans are well underway for bigger and better for this year's parade on December 17th. In its second year, our Tourism and Activities Pass program, also known as TAP, is the only one of its kind in the Cochrane district. It's designed to attract tourism to our town by offering discounted activity and tourism packages for lodging, food, attractions, and services at up to 20% off. No other local, private, or governmental agency has anything like this to help support tourism for our community. Our annual general meeting gala attracted 82 participants to help celebrate the achievements of 5 business award recipients. In closing, the Chamber is truly grateful to the town for their ongoing support. Your financial support will help to cover our payroll and rent expenses, which make our operations possible. It is without a doubt that we have grown and improved over the years, and that wouldn't be feasible without the support we have been graciously provided. We hope that the town will continue to support our operations and that we can thrive to build a bigger and better business community. I would also like to add that there are tap pens, stickers, and brochures available on the back table if anyone would like some. And I would like to thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. Any questions for Justice? How many members do you have approximately?
So up to date with our members in good standing, we have 55 members, but for the end of the year, we are projected to end with 65 members.
Okay. And you're adding another event, the tree lighting ceremony in Anson Park. I
Yes.
look forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be the date for the parade on December 16th.
Good. Like I said, like I just told the previous group, I thank you for all the hard work you guys have been doing. It's all volunteer based, so it makes a big difference. You know? It takes a lot of volunteers to make your falls what it is. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Oh, Mr. McIntyre, if you don't mind, for the music.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Mr. McIntyre was my dad, though.
Respect, eh?
Thank you. I hope I deserve it.
There you go.
The York Falls Historical Society operates the museum on behalf of the town of York Falls. we have taken huge strides in the last 3 or 4 years with our attempts to make our museum something that our municipality can be proud of and be recognized. We are the only tourist attraction in Iroquois Falls during the summer months. And as a result of our efforts and the efforts of the fine team we have in the Historical Society, we've increased the visibility very well, very much. This year, I'll just hit a couple of highlights. This year, we had over 500 visits to our museum. The majority of those from out of town. We now are listed on Google TripAdvisor with a 5-star rating, and that's paid off for us in the tourists that we see coming to Iroquois Falls. And when they come to our museum, we've had numerous comments that the only reason when we ask people, why are you in Iroquois Falls? Well, we saw your museum rating and we thought we're in the area, let's take a look. So we're quite pleased with the strides we've made. The community has been a great support for us. And we do it as a labor of love, all volunteer, a lot of hours put in. And we made a pledge when we started this project to rejuvenate the museum, was that we won't let it get stale. If you were into our museum this year, we were themed for schools out of respect for the 100th anniversary of the high school. If you come back next year, you won't see it schools again. We are committed to changing our displays to keep it fresh so that no one can say, well, I was here a couple of years ago and I was here. So please, to the community, to everyone listening, when we reopen again in the spring, please come and visit us. Some of the highlights this year for the museum was I spoke of our attendance record and our visibility. We're very aggressive with fundraising. It's not cheap to run a facility like that. We appreciate very much the support we get from the municipality. We also do aggressive fundraising. And this year we've been very successful in some different avenues. North Clay Belt Development has helped us out with a project to rejuvenate the outside of the building in cooperation with the Maine Labor Force team from the Monteith Correctional Center. You can see the result in the painting, the new signage, just the outside, the curb appeal of the building. Where we had comments from people, I didn't realize that was a museum. I just thought it was some kind of rundown old place on the corner, but boy, it looks nice now. That makes us feel good. The Monteith crew has donated 2 picnic tables to us and a concrete bench. They did all the exterior work. The carpentry program at Monteith this year will be rejuvenated. Unfortunately, they're into a COVID issue right now, so the carpentry program has been put on hold. But when they start up again in April, they are going to be building us some storage shelving, which is desperately needed in our museum to properly preserve our artifacts. Special thank you to the municipality this year. The building has deteriorated over the years. The roof was in horrible condition, leaking all over. We have a double garage on the property that's used for artifact storage. The roof was shot in there. Thank you to the municipality. This year they replaced both roofs. Now we're confident in the building and we're able to protect the heritage and the artifacts that we have in the building. We've this year been visited by 5 schools, 5 classrooms have taken advantage of visiting the museum. The North Clay Belt Development has just recently approved and we've processed a grant in cooperation with one of our community partners, Rick Sci-Fi. Thank you, Rick, for the purchase of 2 computers to update our online presence. The newest computer in the museum were some secondhand donations. Thank you to Diane from the library. So for the first time in about 25 years, we now actually have new computers. We have a laptop and a desktop. This is the first year that the museum has had internet, if you can believe that in this day and age. And that's helped us in spades with promoting the museum. We are now also considered as a research center. We've had almost 50 requests for research this year. Things ranging from people doing genealogical research on their families to some historical research from a couple of universities having to do with, and this may referring to the pictures on the wall, some research done on an early mayor of Iroquois Falls who was Jewish, and a research fellow from York University doing some research. We've had research from Queens, researching a visit from the British Association for the Advancement of Science. In 1924, Albert Einstein and Niels Bohr boarded a train in Toronto and came to Iroquois Falls to spend a day to see the most modern paper mill in the world. Things like that are elevating our presence. So we thank our community partner and North Claybelt for that. We have a request of the municipality though, if you could help us out a bit with the elevation of our profile is on signage. Could you include the Iroquois Falls Museum on the signage? Yes, we're the home of the Sheikh. We're also the home of a world-class small community museum, and we'd like to bring out that message. Now, I'm here with my hand up. The building needs some work. As the councilors, you have in your hands I would call it a PowerPoint presentation, but paying homage to our paper past, I guess it's more of a paper point. It's a presentation on possible capital spending for the 2024 budget. As a result of the repairs to the roof, we're now in a position where if you've been in the building and looked up at our ceiling tiles, they are stained and water stained and crumbling from the invasion of water over the years. They need to be changed desperately. We have attached a quote in the package for the replacement of those ceiling tiles. The ceiling in the furnace room, which is a drywall ceiling, because of water infiltration and that room is completely collapsed. It needs to be repaired. There's a quote included for that. Our kitchen, or what's known as the kitchen area, we are no longer operating a commercial kitchen from that building. And we are going to be using that real estate as another adjunct to our displays. For this year, our theme for the museum this year will be businesses past and present, justice with, and paying homage to the 100 years of the Chamber of Commerce. What you're used to seeing as the kitchen, we've already started some renovations to turn it into a general store with some donations from some local merchants and some work from our volunteers. That's going to go on nicely. And the building itself will also have displays concerning businesses. In 2019, the roof over the deck collapsed. When it collapsed, it took out the front wall of the building, destroyed both picture windows and part of the actual structure of the wall. That's been repaired, but part of that repair, not 2 minutes, resulted in beadboard along 1.5 walls. We'd like to see that project completed to have a nicer facility there. There's a quote included in the package for that. 2 more possible projects and prospective projects. One that's near and dear to our heart is we have a handicapped accessible washroom. We meet because we were originally York Industries. However, it's a huge building for one toilet stall, a very large room. We would like to have that room partitioned into 2, maintain the handicapped accessible washroom. There's actually a shower in that room. It's been there and hasn't been used since York Industries lived there. Have that removed, split the room longitudinally to have a handicapped accessible washroom and another storage room for storage of artifacts and supplies. We're encountering a little bit of a problem getting quotes because that building, oddly enough, is built slab on grade. There is no basement. And we've just today actually located some of the original blueprints to try and help us get a quote. So our contractors can potentially see what's in the floor. So that's a project that we would really like to see happen in 2024. And the other project is the floors. The floors throughout the building are like what you're standing on here, asbestos. I guess that's my cue.
Yes, we can ask a question.
I'll ask the first question then.
Oh, there.
Mr. McIntyre, what would you like to see done with the floors? We would like to see the floors.
Any questions from council? Go ahead, Councilor Shaw.
What would you like to see done with the floor?
Well, thank you for asking. The floors are a collection of different patterns of industrial asbestos tile. Some of it is tile over tile, so they're uneven. We looked into it, it's a large building. We looked into some of the costs, and costs could be prohibitive, because of the removal of the asbestos tile and other aspects. So we're looking for a better, I won't say cheaper, because less expensive way of making it more attractive. There's pictures in the presentation, and you see they aren't very attractive.
When you run into asbestos, you're gonna have.
Yeah.
What would your main priority would be, the ceiling tiles and the beadboard? And
The ceiling tiles, the beadboard, and the ceiling in the furnace room. They're kind of, have tos. And then the next one would be the washroom.
So we could divide it up if we had to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we've had a contractor look at it, and we just need more detail. Like I say, it's very unusual in Northern Ontario to have a slab on grade building with all of the utilities, heating and water in that slab somehow. So,
Any other questions? What I like is the resources coming, people investigated too and all that stuff, so.
we like,
People are enjoying that. I know the industrial park, we used you for that information for Albert Einstein and everything. When I heard about that, that was huge. So we gotta promote stuff like that even more, and you guys are doing a good job what you're doing, so I appreciate that.
in reference to the industrial park, we were visited by the archaeologists who are working in that location, looking for some information, which they were thrilled to find that we could provide.
Yeah.
And we can.
Bill, can you speak on that a little bit? What happened there?
So, to begin with, it was actually a Russian immigrant that homesteaded at the industrial park. And some of the artifacts that were found was from that era. And that dated back to 1926, I think it was, but one of the things that the archaeologist also found was a connection to Albert Einstein and Iroquois Falls, and you actually illustrated that. So what's interesting about this is the history. Like, there's a lot more to Iroquois Falls than a lot of people realize, and I think the historic connotations of having a museum is like that's critical. So.
Okay, we're good. Thank you very much. So Mrs. Buffalo with the library. Is Diane joining you or?
No, thanks, Diane, here, questions.
Oh, you're
And please, it's Pat, Patricia, and Trish, it's not Mrs. Tuffalo, she was my mother-in-law. Mary Council, and ladies and gentlemen, we're really pleased to be here tonight again. We welcome the opportunity to tell you a little bit about the library. I think you've received all our numbers, our budget, and all our statistics, so we're not going to go there except for the bottom line, and we will get there later. We just a note about the budget. It is a draft budget, and it was done way before we would usually put a budget together. So it should be finalized year end, beginning of the new year. The continued support and assistance that council provides is really vital to the library, and it's much appreciated by the library board, by the staff, and by all of the community members who use the services. Once again, this year, we're happy to report that the library has received several very, very generous donations, both from individuals and from service organizations. Most of the donations come with the caveat that they are not to be used for operating expenses or for staffing. So we have to buy things that we really needed, computers, furniture, things for programming, large print books, which are really expensive, audiobooks and the like. We still have some of that funding left in our bank account, and we will continue to use it for things that we need as the need arises. But it's tough to get donations and not be able to use those donations to help us run the library, because everything else is increasing, as you know. The donations nevertheless have helped us to meet ever-changing needs and the requests of the citizens of Iroquois Falls, because we do get respect. In 2023, council approved a municipal grant of $136,000. And I have to say this because I hesitate every year to come and say it, but that is significantly below the amount that other councils give to their municipal libraries. Anyway, that's just for your information. All of that is on the ministry website. Feel free to follow up and have a look. The amount that you, I think last year you raised it from 130 to 136,000, and this amount restored our funding to the level that we received in 2016. We're still behind, but we were able to hire a part-time staff member, and we have very recently, effective just October, extended our hours of operation in hope of being successful again with this request. We're now open from 8:30, we're open to 8:30 from Tuesday to Friday evenings, and the extended hours and the extra programs have been really well received and well attended by the community. The other Wednesday night, we had 32 people in the library, and that's awesome. That's just fantastic. We've included a chart, I think in your package, illustrating the library statistics. In the first 10 months of 2023, we have far surpassed our total circulation stat from last year. I think we had over 37,000 interactions with our population as of last week. We checked it again. The library always takes pride in being proactive, in anticipating and addressing the needs and the requests of our patrons, staff, and we have an awesome staff, just the best ever. Staff continues to offer curbside and delivery service. We had that during COVID, and some people really liked it, really appreciate it. So they phone the library and say, okay, you know what I've read, you know what I need to read, please get some books ready for me. And magically they do. Tech assistance is cheerfully and competently provided in person, by phone, online, and our internet continues to be free. And that's a real bonus to the community. The library holds book launches, special speakers, and community events, as well as a very busy summer program for children. I think we had 833 visits by kids during our summer program. In order to continue to provide a wide range of services, we're always eager for partnership and collaboration with other community organizations. In 2024, to maintain the current level of staffing and the hours of operation, we're requesting that the municipal grant increase by $10,000 to $146,000. We'll still have to work really hard to make that work for us, but we'll do our best. This would enable us to meet the costs associated with an increase in staff, with extended hours, and with the rising cost of supplies and utilities. We're still not back to our staffing level that we were before the cutbacks in 2016. At that time, we had 2 full-time staff members we only have one full-time staff member right now. And we have an assistant librarian who we very much would like to see full-time. That would not, that full-time means an increase in hours, so therefore salary. It also means OMERS payment on our behalf. We're always mindful of the fact that the library is the hub of this community. Always mindful of that. It's our community center. Our services continue to be free, and everyone, absolutely everyone, is welcome. So that's about our operating budget. Now, you've asked us for capital requests. We've never been asked before.
Oh,
Anyway,
we got some phone calls.
okay, okay. Anyway, we thank you for that opportunity. The building which houses the library is your building. It's owned by the municipality. We pay rent. As required, library staff and the board have endeavored to make the building as accessible as possible over the years. The library, at its own expense, installed automatic entry doors a number of years ago. And we tried to make small changes to our existing washrooms. But we know these improvements are not enough. We've had many requests for an accessible washroom, and we tried years ago to investigate that possibility. It's way beyond our knowledge and our expertise, so that's where we stand. But we're at a point now where the building must have an accessible washroom. We thought at first, we have two washrooms side by side. We thought it would be an easy fix to knock out a wall and have a large washroom, but we don't have enough. We don't have enough room, so we can't do that. So we respectfully request that an accessible washroom be included in the list of capital expenditures.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
2 minutes left, okay.
Then we can ask you some questions.
Okay, anyway, that's our first request. We had two other ideas for future capital requests. Our heating contractor has indicated to us that our rooftop heating unit is approaching the end of its life. And also the carpet in the library was installed around the year 2000. It's stained and it's dirty. Our custodian is constantly cleaning the carpet, and it really is an inappropriate floor covering for a public building. We realize that these are three major expenditures, and we really thank you for your consideration. So there we go.
Thank you.
I didn't think I'd take 10 minutes.
Oh, good job.
Any questions? Diana's here, don't forget.
Well, on behalf of the town, I really appreciate you guys joining us for Indigenous Day the last few years.
That's always our pleasure.
Yes.
You know what we have in the
The
building.
partnership, yes,
Yes,
thus far. And then I was gonna mention to expand the washroom because I've been hearing a lot of feedback from the community, and for me, it's something that has to get done. It's the law, so we have to do
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
right? So my father was in a wheelchair for 18 years, not anymore. He got out of a wheelchair. It's a blessing,
Yeah.
but I understand. where
But
it's
you
coming from.
appreciate that need, for
That's right,
sure,
yeah.
for sure.
And thank you for teaming up with the events committees during carnival time and other situations, and that we bring activities to the community. Because you do a lot of free activities, and a lot of people, I was just talking to a merchant today, not everybody can afford to do all those activities, right? So you guys offer a lot of free stuff, like you said, so that goes far too, so. And you give people a chance to get out of the elements and into a
And
safe
lots of
building.
people just come in and sit down and relax, have a little visit with somebody else, come in for a chat. Yeah,
And I sit on the Porcupine Health Unit and CD staff. Mental health is very important, so I think that's a big factor you guys have to advocate also. That's all I have to ask. Anybody else want to have anything? Councilor Trombley.
So you had one full-time employee, how many part-time?
we have 2 part-time employees and 1 library page. Who comes in evenings and Saturday morning. And we just recently hired our library page. Our second full-time employee worked the children's program in the summertime, and now she works 12 hours a week, I believe. 15. Okay.
Is there anything else you want to get off that you didn't have time in 10 minutes that you want me to ask you about?
They're all
You
good.
got everything covered that you wanted to?
Just please, the washroom. And it's not, community living is always in the library and they belong there.
Yeah.
They're, you know, we know that, and so that's problematic, because they don't have a washroom, that some of them can use. And I mean, we've installed the higher toilets and we have, the bars to grab and even, the one door, we have a new lock on it to make it easier for the folks to get out of the washroom because we've had people stuck in washrooms and that doesn't work. So we try, but we can't do any more. We don't know where it will go.
Did you have anybody professional come in and say that there's not enough room for one bathroom with those?
We were many years ago, we were investigating, Trillium funding and had the documents from Trillium as to what is code. And we didn't come close. And, we've since had a gentleman come in and tell us that we needed space that's 10 by 10. So I don't know where it's gonna go. Honestly, I don't.
Thank you.
But
On a
it's
personal
necessary.
note, say hi to Mr. T from me and I hope he's doing well.
He's just fine. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from council? So I just want to give a little history lesson. We have two former councilors here. Patricia
This is
Buffalo?
really different.
Patricia Tuffalo, Danny McIntyre, we have a former mayor, Joe Projet here too, so it's nice to see you guys coming back and still involved in the community after all these years. So that's my
That was request.
request, but you know how it's all about, so I appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you.
Form a shadow
There you go. Now we'll call up Mr. Joe Projet and Paul Statton. And Paul on Zoom.
Can you hear me, Mayor?
Yes, we can, yes, sir.
Okay, good. Yeah, decided to stay home on a snowy night. So Gilles gonna be my sidekick here. So good evening, your worship and members of council. I've already given you the slides. You have it in front of you. I'm not gonna go through it. Oh, sorry. Got this fire alarm going on. So the South Centennial Manor Redevelopment Committee would like to present a request for funding from the town of Niagara Falls and a commitment to the new 96-bed long-term care home. At this time, we're requesting funds to help secure a larger loan to enable us to move forward to our project to the next stage. Our architects have provided us with the following schedule, and it's included in your package. Basically, the first two stages have been completed. It's the design plans and the 60% working drawings have been submitted to the ministry. Our pre-qualification packages will be ready to go out the next couple of weeks with a close of on December the 22nd of 2023. Our 90% review drawing will be set in December the 15th as well, 2023. Our tender documents should be going out in early or mid-February, and our anticipated tender will be about 4 to 6 weeks. So we're at a kind of a holding pattern right now because the next stages, since we've already incurred about $900,000 in architecture fees, 400,000 of that came from the foundation. This fire alarm going in the background. $400,000 come from the foundation already, but we're at a standstill until we move forward. The project is becoming more urgent, as you know, or some of you may know. In 2025, which is just less than 2 years, the South Centennial Manor operating license will expire, and we'll have to reapply for a 5-year extension because we're a Class B home. The future beyond 2030 is really uncertain. The manor no longer meets long-term care standards and is currently in dire need of repair and maintenance. The financing of this project is also broken down in your package. Our estimated construction cost for 96 beds is about $41.5 million. We will receive a redevelopment grant from the Ministry of Long-Term Care once our development agreement is signed, and that's the amount of $2.4 million. The foundation's donations are secured, net of the part of the architecture fees. that have been paid, which is about $2.1 million in donations. We have secured a long-term sheet, a loan term sheet from Ontario Financing Authority for $27 million, which isn't quite enough. So our shortfall is about $10 million. We do have a fundraising campaign, which will be launched very, very shortly. And that's an $8 million campaign over 5 years. So our shortfall right off the bat is about $2 million. Just give you some history on some of the stats that during 2023, the Ministry of Long-Term Care has approved 37 long-term care homes that are moving forward with their bills. 18 of those 37 homes are private. These homes did meet the August 31st deadline to receive the increase in construction funding subsidy. 10 homes did not meet this deadline, including the subsidy on manor. Out of these 10 homes, currently on pause, 3 of them have paid over $1 million in architecture fees without any money from the government, and will become one of them very shortly. We're hoping to secure enough funds to move forward to this project to the next stage, which is why we reach out to for requesting for the financial contribution from the Eric Falls Council. So just in closing for me on the commitment that was made, or the quote that was made from James McBride, Ontario Financing Authority, which is including your packages, basically saying, without comfort for the municipalities are contractually committed to an ongoing specified contribution levels and are on stable financial footing to stand behind such an agreement, the OFA can only offer a term sheet of $27 million at this point. So we're hoping to get a commitment from the town of Iroquois Falls, and we're hoping to do the same for the town of Cochrane and Black River, Mass. I'll just stop there. I think Gilles may have some questions. You have in your package the drawings of the exterior and the interior of the new build, which is quite exciting, and also the fundraising packages for their $8 million campaign.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just to add to that, we've been fundraising since 2016. We've raised over $3 million. A good part of that, of course, is thanks to the NBA Foundation, Those Foundation, that donated $2 million. So they believe in the redevelopment of the community. Man, for sure, because they do have some citizens in Cochrane, they do have some in Madison, Black River area. So we've seen since 2016, we've done all kinds of things, like the lobster dinners. We've sold tickets for anybody want to fly, fishing trips, and so on and so forth. All kinds of little things like that, which raised over $1 million. But as you can see, it's just a small amount from what they're looking at. They need a big commitment from the municipalities and the community as a whole. And this is why we're going to be launching a big campaign in January to raise this. And as you can see, the architects are saying that they'll be ready in February to tender out. So we're at a stalemate right now. We need to prove to them, the government and the Ontario Financing Authority, that we're supporting this. And it's vitally important that we keep this manner going, because I think in 20 years from now, there'll be a 68% increase in old age people, senior citizens. So, and you certainly don't want to see your residents have to leave the community and go somewhere else.
How many jobs?
Well, right now we've gone from the thing is, it's gone from we've initially applied for funding for 69 bed, but the break-even point is 96 beds, and that's why it's very important that we have that. Plus, it will create another 30 beds for somebody and jobs, and another approximately 30 jobs.
Okay.
So, I mean, if we're looking at economic development, this is also a good point that we can move forward to community, small community like this, and which means more housing, and like the chamber was saying, in the library and the arts council, the more things you bring to your community, the more vibrant it is. It's all important.
Any other comments from council? Councillor Giguere first, then Councillor Schauble.
Thank you, Your Worship, and if I can through you, so part of this one graph here shows that you still need to raise $8 million.
That's right.
and we expect to do that through fundraising?
Well, we expect to be doing this for over the next 5 years, keep going. And with the amount that we've raised so far, we anticipate that once people, a lot of businesses are saying, well, until we know that it's gonna be a goal, we don't wanna put anything in it until we know. We've been told that. And I can tell you also that it's not almost every day I get 10 or 15 people are asking me, where are you with this thing? What's going on? So, I mean, it's very important for you.
Councilor Shalbo.
Thank you, your worship. I wonder, Jill, if you could find out, for example, I know that for money from the municipality and the community, but I'm sure that on average, or there is an average, municipalities will contribute over time. And those will be statistically available. So for example, average for long-term care facilities, hospitals, rehab centers, any new projects like that, what is the average range that municipalities typically provide or give towards the budget? The fundraising as a percentage.
Paul can look that up for the next couple.
Paul might be able to answer it now.
Well, Paul, do you have that answer?
Well, I don't have that answer, but I can tell you the homes that are moving forward are municipal homes. And so read between the lines, they're being backed up by the municipalities.
I guess what I'm asking would be, for example, if the commitment is, you know, is it 2%, 5%, 10%, 15%? In other words, to know a reference point that we could say, okay, if province-wide over the past 20-25 years, municipal investment on average has ranged from this to this, where are we? And we would try to see if perhaps we could fit in there if we aren't already.
What I can answer on that is that, as Paul just mentioned, they're looking for a major commitment right now to get to that point where we can get to 41 million dollars. So it's probably a good one-shot deal initially, for sure.
Councilor Trumbull.
It says the August 31st deadline to receive subsidy funding, that we missed that deadline.
Yeah.
Was that an important deadline for us to hit, and why did we miss that deadline, and how come?
Well,
Yeah, so we missed that deadline because we couldn't get a $40 million loan term sheet from Ontario Financing. All they could provide us was $27 million. So the ministry wants that term sheet first, and they want to build the working drawings and the land. So we got the working drawings, we've got the land, we just don't have the full commitment. And that's why, one of the reasons why we have this delegation tonight. But we're pretty confident, and from what I hear from my sources, that the Ministry of Long-Term Care is going to provide another increase to the construction funding subsidy, because quite a few homes, quite a few beds were not built because we're all in the same boat. So we expect to have another announcement probably in the new year. But no matter what happens, no matter what the increase in funding announcement will be, we still have our share to pick up. So whether it be $8 million or maybe $7 million, it's going to be significant.
if I can add, I think that the ministry is really supporting the project, because with all this time, even though we didn't meet the deadline, keep going on your architectural work, make sure that the plan's ready for the Henry. So I think they eventually want to see this happen, but they need a commitment from the community up there.
Councilor Jiguer.
Thank you, your worship. If I understood you correctly during your presentation, you said you're going to be also reaching out to the other municipalities that sit within our region, I believe Cochrane and Madison. So the $2 million that you need from the municipality, is that all three combined, or are you going after $2 million per municipality?
I don't know where that $2 million figure comes from, to tell you the truth there. I read somebody had a discussion where I was involved with it.
Paul?
I think the $2 million is basically the shortfall. So if that could be shared with all three municipalities, that's great. But I'm not sure, I'm not as confident that the other towns will pick it up.
We realized Black River Madison, 34% tax increase, I think.
Go ahead, Councilor Chair.
And I can appreciate that, but part of, I guess, where my struggle on getting completely on board with the shortfall and the town of York Falls picking it up is there's no guarantee that these beds are gonna be for our residents. If it's going to be ran by the government, if you follow the government in any capacity, they tell you, we will fill those beds. And it's not like our residents or residents from Madison or Cochrane are gonna be preferred. It's gonna be when there's a bed open, there could be somebody sitting in Toronto and they could get that bed. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because it's gonna create more people coming to our community for them to see their loved ones, but this is a big ask, with not, I'll say all of the, golden tickets coming also our way, so I'm just gonna need some time for this one.
Yeah. So when it comes down to your ask, there's no limit on the ask, right?
No,
There's not just 2 million, it could be 3, whatever your ask is, as much as we can give.
Yeah.
Understanding that. So just to let everybody know, Roma conference is happening in January, and we did request a delegation, and we asked Paul to join us at that. So if we get accepted, we're gonna make another delegation to the ministry, and hopefully put their feet to the fire.
I have one more
Yeah,
question.
go ahead.
So for the estimated construction cost, is that the construction cost of just the building? Or is that like for all the services to get to the building, the whole meat and potato, the whole thing from start to finish?
It doesn't include the furnishings of
And so that still has to be added to this?
Yeah, it's separate.
Okay, thanks.
So my question to Paul. You're asking for money from the municipality. So in our term, we have 3 years left. So if we give you a letter of commitment for the year 2026 for a certain amount of money, would that work? Or do you need money right now? Or can we give you a letter of commitment for 2026 and council would approve it? Would that be okay?
Yeah, so I think what they're looking for, so the reason why they want the commitment more than just the actual cash is because by the time we get going shovel ready by spring, let's say 2024, we have a two-year construction period. The 2-year construction period, we will not be paying any loan repayment or interest, because, well, it'll be accrued interest when we get the loan. So we actually don't need any money for the next 2.5 years. So that's why their commitment is, it's a commitment. But they want, and James McBride from Ontario Financing is basically saying, the commitment from municipalities is more powerful than a commitment from the foundation. And I think he's basically saying, it's almost like you're co-signing a loan.
But at the end of the day, 2026, we give you a letter of commitment and we give you the money, then you're good. I'm hearing that correctly, just making sure.
Let her know.
What I can say,
The letter now, yeah, it's confirming a certain amount of money.
what I can say is that we need a commitment as quickly as possible, because the longer you delay the project, the more the costs are gonna go up.
That's right.
Right.
So but the money can come in 2026. As long as you got a letter of
I suppose the money could come in 2026, but not beginning, like starting in 2026. So if we're just hypothetically thinking $2 million, that they would want a whole commitment by 2026 of $2 million.
Yeah.
So not a commitment saying in 2026 we'll start planning for $2 million.
You get a check if council.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Just because we have some investments, and the longer we can hang on to those, there's possibility we might be able to give you something. Councilor Jiguer?
This will be my last question for the evening on this topic. So when do they plan on sitting down with the other municipalities and launching the same presentation to see how things go?
Well, we plan on doing that, but I can tell you that I think it was in May that the 3 mayors met together here with Paul and a few others, and it was requested and it was kind of shrugged off.
Yeah, it doesn't look very promising. We're hoping for the best. We're hoping to get something, but we don't.
Okay, thanks. And to answer Councilor Jiguer on your comment rather, well, yeah, you could have residents coming from all over the place. 98% are from here right now. So as we age, there'll be more of us, so they'll probably fill.
And then the jobs and
Yeah,
everything.
and there's a waiting list. More questions?
Any more questions for Paul or Councillor? Or
I guess, so how many new jobs is it going to
You
create?
say about 30.
And do we have a shortfall of staffing as we
We do
speak?
now, yes.
We also have to figure that out.
They have to. figure it out.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're hoping that things are gonna change in the next couple of years, 3 years. But I'd also be remiss to say that, or to acknowledge that the town of River Falls has been very generous in donating the land, which is a big step. And the ministry recognizes that, and they're quite thankful.
And so far, we've been given $50,000 a year. We haven't given it over yet, but we have that in our
No.
coffers to still. I think it's up to $350,000, I think, our charter.
Yeah, 350.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, have a good evening. Thanks, bye-bye.
Business arising from delegations and presentations of nil. We'll take a 5-minute recess. To receive correspondence, can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Jiguer and Councillor Charlebois.
Moved by Councillor Jiguer, seconded by Councillor Charlebois, that the following correspondence is received as information. Erica Falls Arts Council meeting minutes, October 19th, 2023. Chamber of Commerce meeting minutes, October 23rd, 2023.
Is there any comments or questions? All in favor? Carried. So appoint our clerk. So I get a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Jiguer and Councillor Charlebois.
Moved by Councillor Jiguer, seconded by Councillor Charlebois, that bylaw number 375323, being a bylaw to appoint Maureen Reader as clerk for the corporation of the town of Erica Falls, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed the 27th day of November 2023.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
yeah.
Carried. I'd like to say congratulations, Maureen, on all your hard work. Well done.
You get paid?
We'll take care of it. We'll move on to the noise bylaw. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Trombley and Councillor Charlebois.
Moved by Councillor Tremblay, seconded by Councillor Charlebois, that bylaw number 375423, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 219483, a bylaw to control noise, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 27th day of November 2023.
Any comments or questions? All in favor? Carried. So I need a mover and a seconder to regulate, prohibit heavy traffic on certain highways. Can you get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Charlebois and Councillor Jiguer.
Moved by Councillor Charlebois, seconded by Councillor Jiguer, that bylaw number 375523, being a bylaw to regulate and prohibit heavy traffic on certain highways, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 27th day of November 2023.
Well, before we vote on it, Mark, do you have anything that you'd like to add or?
No, we just did changes. It's basically some came out of the bylaws.
Okay.
Changed some wording and the same streets are still named in it, but more stringent.
Yeah.
So,
Just for the general public.
yeah, it's obviously that they, when you just did some cleanups of order.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Carried. So a parking bylaw, can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Jiguer and Councillor Trombley.
Moved by Councillor Jiguer, seconded by Councillor Tremblay, that bylaw number 375623, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2444, a bylaw to regulate parking of vehicles in the town of Arctic Falls, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 27th day of November, 2023.
Is there any comments or questions? Would you like to add anything, Mark Dubé?
This was just in regards to the changes that we did to the bike path. The days we extended that went to September instead of October. And there was the changes council wanted, so we just put in.
Okay, thank you.
Amended the bylaw, so bylaw statement, but and then
All in favor? Carried. So the bylaw for public, which the public may access information. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Tremblay and Councillor Charlebois.
Moved by Councillor Tremblay, seconded by Councillor Charlebois, that bylaw number 375723, being a bylaw to establish a policy to set out a process by which the public may access information, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 27th day of November, 2023.
Is there any comments or questions from council? Councillor Jiguer.
I'm just looking at the type of fees that are in this bylaw. What is, like, can I just get maybe an example of a computer desk? Whatever you doing with computer desk? Or is that you?
Justice have anything to add, or Maureen or the
So
CEO?
a computer disk could be relevant to a USB or a CD, any information that might need to be transferred on there. And then the time associated with actually transferring the data.
Councillor Jiguer.
With them, we're giving that to someone in the public?
As required and as directed by the CAO or council.
Any other comments? Councillor Jiguer.
At our previous meeting, it was highly suggested that we shouldn't be doing that.
Okay.
And we took that direction from staff.
Yeah.
As an example, it's because if we transfer information to a USB stick, there could be some comprehense of maybe we didn't transfer all the information or whatnot. And that a hard copy should be given, just
Yeah.
going by what we were told last meeting.
Does staff anything to say on that?
Yeah, this is this when it's being got the legal clearance. Whenever we are doing this ones, when we have the legal clearance to give something like this one, then it applies.
Can I have an example?
Anything requested by the committee which goes through our legal process and the lawyer said that yes, you have to give.
Freedom of information.
As a freedom of information request and things like that.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Any other comments or questions from council? Any of the three staff would like to add anything before we vote on? Are you guys good?
I would just like to mention that this is in accordance with all other municipalities and MFIPA. These weren't made up by the municipality. I just think it's important.
Okay. All in favor? Carried.
Amendment.
Yeah. Okay. For the amendment, can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Jiguer. And Councillor Charlebois.
Moved by Councillor Jiguer, seconded by Councillor Charlebois, that bylaw number 375823, being a bylaw to repeal bylaw number 309910, appointment of a closed meeting investigator, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 27th day of November, 2023.
Is there any comments or questions from council? Councillor Charlebois.
Just for the public's knowledge and curiosity, the rationale behind repeal.
CEO. You want to repeat that, Councillor Charlebois?
For the public information, the rationale for repealing the bylaw. In a nutshell.
Go ahead, Maureen, or Seal, whoever wants to talk on it.
Yeah, if I may, the majority of municipalities use the Ontario Ombudsman as their closed meeting investigator because it promotes neutrality with it. So previously in, I guess it would have been 2010, the council on had appointed a member of the community for this. I'm not sure before my time if this was effective. So this is for the purpose, legality purposes, that we repeal that bylaw, and then automatically the Ontario Ombudsman assumes the role of our investigator.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Carried. We'll move on to application for consent. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Jiguer and Councillor Trombley.
Moved by Councillor Jiguer, seconded by Councillor Trombley, that the application for consent from Andy Rochette, file number B0823, to sever and convey a portion of the following land, Walker Township, concession to SPT Lot 11, PCL 9469 SEC, be granted, said consent being subject to the following condition: that section 53 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, chapter P13, shall apply to any subsequent conveyance of the said lands. 2, the terms and conditions as outlined in the November 17th, 2023 correspondence from Lindy Sikolo, legal counsel for Ontario Northland, are adhered to.
Any other comments or questions from council? Councillor Jiguer.
Thank you, Worship. Do we know if the applicant has had time to read what the ONTSC has sent him and all that, and he still want to proceed?
Maureen or
I'm not aware. It's a condition of the application. So by having it in the final resolution, if he chooses not to, all he has to do is not do anything for 2 years, and then it reverts back to the way it was. So you'd have 2 years to decide if he wants to sell, and then the new applicant that would buy the property would have to go through these conditions. So it's a condition of the severance. If you don't fulfill this, you can't sever.
Maureen.
And if I may, Mayor Delory, our process that we do here is the day following the meeting, a copy of the resolution is also mailed to the applicant, along with a letter.
Thank you.
All in favor? Carried. So the 1945 Maple Leaf fire truck, can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Shalawal. Councillor Jiguer.
Moved by Councillor Charlebois, seconded by Councillor Jiguer, that council approve the repairs to the 1945 Maple Leaf fire truck in the approximate cost of $15,000.
Fire chief would like to speak on that?
Yeah, I believe most of you are aware that the building that this truck was stored in was broken into sometime over the winter. There was significant damage done to it. We sourced out somebody to repair it. We found an individual that can actually rebuild parts that you can no longer find. Obviously, 1946 truck, you won't find parts off the shelf. So this person, because it's a fire truck, is gonna give us a steal of a deal to repair it. So the 15,000, that's mobilization as well. So to bring the truck down and bring it back. He's gonna keep it over the winter, so it doesn't have to come back on the salty roads. It was delivered, it's already delivered. There was a time constraint there. However, we'd like to proceed with the, he hasn't started repairing it yet, so we'd like to proceed with the repairs with this truck. And the truck has a lot of historical value to the community. It survived the community fire, the community building fire back in where the Legion parking lot is today. So it's the only thing the fire department saved out of the buildings.
Yeah. So my question to you, this is great. That's a good price, I think. So are we gonna be able to like to put it in parades and showcase it more like July 1st day or something?
It had been in parades previously,
Yeah.
it does run,
Yeah.
it actually still pumps that truck.
Okay.
So it, in the unfortunate event that everything is broken, that truck still works.
Oh.
So, yeah, we will
More
put it in the
visible.
parade. Because of it was at the airport at one time, was a little bit more secure there. And because of the building that we're kind of stuck with, we had to start in that building. There was a lot of humidity in it and there was a lot of work to get it going. We're hoping, or we know where it's gonna go when we come back. There's planning in the works, and it's gonna be stored in a UD building.
Sure.
So with less problem.
Okay, well, thank you. Again, further, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. This issue came up when I was out of the country. I couldn't, I think I communicated. Yeah. My concern is regarding the risk that we are paying for. Whether we are getting some of the coverage that we have paid to cover that. So I don't know the details of the equipment, how much of insurance we have on it, and I think I communicated that we need to have that information handy, whether we can make a claim or not. That is the area where I'm a little say my concern is that how much of a benefit are we getting? We are paying this, and that being said, it's an asset that you said, like you mentioned, it's a historical value. We can quantify it like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. How much are you putting up in insurance policy? How much are we getting on?
Any other comments from council? Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Your Worship. I understand our treasurer's question. I think when it comes to items of historical value, the treasurer has acknowledged that it's difficult to assign it a particular value. I don't know if the question would pertain or extend as far as insurance value or coverage in the future. Maybe that's something that could be looked at. I mean, to go on the open market and to try and find something like that and buy it, if it's $80,000, I don't know if it is, but I'm just picking a number. If it's $80,000, then 15,000 is pretty good value to restore it. But we certainly would want to have a value attached for either insurance purposes if something else were to happen. As far as at what point do you say, well, it's not feasible to maintain and repair or whatever case. In case of a disaster.
Just to add to that, 7,000, just over 7,000 is repair, the rest is mobilization.
Wow.
Because it's in somewhere around Port Dover's in that area. No, but we looked at trucks of similar nature and they were going in the 150, 200 mark. That's not restored.
And then my suggestion would be that we put up a full report on an appraiser, because if you go into our asset management database that we have as now, that equipment could be listed at 12,000, and we are paying to see something. It brings in it brings a lot of imbalances when the way we report on our assets. So if you are going to that through that route, then my suggestion would be that we put up a request for a complete appraisal, that we could put a quantifiable value on it, that we could place it in the I don't know, equipment inventory as a historical item, that we could practice that way. That we could see the value on the books, that this is what we have.
I think in terms of appraisal for this is an something like an antique, right?
Yeah.
It's an antique property. So let's use a conservative principle to appraise it in our books. When we are ready to sell it, then whatever the market value we get, we go for it. That instead of, I mean, using the current value or the current market value in appraising it in our books, I don't think it's neither here nor there. So go with the conservatism principle.
Okay, we can't do that.
And do that for us.
I'm sorry, we can't do that because in the financial audit, we can't do it that way. We have an item on the books valued at 1,000, actually 0. Then you go and you spend this much on it. The audit will tell you why are you doing that. It is not.
I think let's take this one from this argument here now, and probably maybe if we are not able to make a decision, then we decide on this one another time because.
Maybe we can ask the chief to see where it's being restored. Those guys have any knowledge.
Yeah, I can ask,
Yeah.
I was just gonna tell Corvina, I could ask the people restoring them can probably give me an appraisal on that truck, no issue. Because they do this on a regular basis.
Okay, sure. So can we defer this to our next meeting?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Does that
trying to
make
say.
sense?
Let's take it
Yeah,
out.
and find out what the truck
Yeah,
is actually.
that's
appraised
right.
at.
Is council okay with deferring it to our next meeting?
So if council decides not to repair this, put the $7,000 repair into this truck, we're just gonna sell it to them where it sits there?
I have to let council decide that, but I don't want to sell it.
No, me either.
Okay, Councilor Jiguer.
I like deferring it so that we can go ahead and get the appraisal done so that we can put a value on it to the book, but I think the truck does have some merit in the community. If we listen to all of the presentations that we had tonight, it's all about how do we, the museum and the cars, our heritage, and how can we showcase these things, and I think it brings that, but if we could start bringing it back out at some events. And obviously there's gonna be a cost to that. It just.
Do it the right way.
Yeah, so let's defer it, but I think we're deferring to get all the information to make sure that everything adds up on the books. We're not deferring it because I don't think it's anyone's intention here to sell it where it lies.
No.
Just
For sure.
just for insurance for myself and the community, that's not the way I'm thinking. Let's get it appraised, and then it's important. This is $15,000 that is being spent. That absolutely didn't need to be spent in our community. It is what it is, I guess. Hopefully it's going to a better home, once it does return, and that, we can keep it safe.
Any other Councilor Shullabah?
I agree with Councilor Jiguer. It's a piece of our heritage. I too would want to go ahead with getting the repairs done. And in as far as the value and getting an estimate of value and whatnot, that's not part of the current tabled resolution anyway. But I think we all appreciate that for the books, it'd be good to have. So that could be simply reported upon at our next meeting, obviously to the treasurer, to the council, and we'll, at that point, we'll know. Yeah, it'll be for the books. But to move ahead, I would call for the vote on the matter at hand.
I'm fine.
Okay. Good. So all in favor? Carry. We'll move on to Recreation Department Manager. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councilor Shullabah. Councilor Jiguer.
Moved by Councillor Charlebois, seconded by Councillor Jiguer, that the following report is received as information. Manager of Recreation, Facilities and Compliance.
With Brian Finner, our Recreation Director, like to speak on that, please?
Absolutely, and thank you so much for the opportunity, Mr. Mayor. Very, very happy to announce that the Recreation Department They posted for a manager of recreation facilities and compliance earlier this year, and Steve Belanger has accepted the position of manager of recreation facilities and compliance within the department. Steve brings over 22 years of in-depth experience working throughout the recreation industry, and of course has spent 14 years as director of recreation with the town of Iroquois Falls. Most recently, Steve spent 5 years in the city of Dryden as a manager of community services, and very, very happy to welcome him back to our community. I know how excited he is to begin the position in the new year, and certainly look forward to working with Steve and welcoming him back to the recreation team in the town of Iroquois Falls in 2024.
Is there comments or questions from council? Councilor Trombley?
Yeah, I have a few questions that I've been asked. The people are telling me, people aren't coming back. I have no idea until I read my agenda and now I see it. Is this the current position we are filling, or is it a new position you created?
This is a new position.
Why do we create this position?
We created it for increased risk management, increased health and safety, increased level of service, and overall increased support for the staff.
It's not that you're too busy with all your other stuff, or this was legit, like this, we needed this?
I think, in my opinion, and research on other municipalities in terms of staff complements, this is a very, very common position across the board. I still feel the department needs support, and I think this is the first start in that process.
Is he a working manager, or is he just an office guy?
No, he'll be both.
Both, as in, he'll be out working on the floor?
He'll be supporting the team, for sure, on the floor.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
How many applicants do you have for this?
3. So this hire was based on experience, and an opportunity to utilize that experience for our community.
All in favor? Carried. So 2024 council meeting schedule. Can I get a mover and a second, please? Councilor Jiguer and Councilor Travolsky. And I do apologize, sir.
Moved by Councilor Jiguer, seconded by Councilor Charlebois, that the 2024 council meeting schedule is hereby adopted.
Any comments or questions? Councilor Jiguer.
Thank you, your worship. To be honest with you, I'm struggling with this schedule. If I look back to last summer, we had special meetings upon special meetings upon emergency meetings that you were called upon at numerous times. What is part of our job? Absolutely. But I don't think that the municipality takes a 2 months leave from its employment. And I think we render a service to the community 365 days a year. And I'm not sure how we do that if we're quotation taking the summer off, as you know, some people in the community think that we're doing, but I don't see how we are further ahead with this schedule as opposed to just keeping our regular scheduled meetings. That way we would know today on what Mondays throughout July and August that we know we have meetings, as opposed to getting a phone call on Monday, can you make a meeting tomorrow? Can you make a meeting this day? Can you make a meeting that day? People apply to have land severed, or people apply for us to act year round. And I would just much rather stay consistent throughout the year and have scheduled meetings even in the summertime, so that I can plan my agenda as required.
And I respect your comments. I just know from experience, being on council for 16 years, the unusual summer that we had for all these special meetings is rare. We don't usually have that many. But even if we would have had regular meetings, there still would have been all those, almost all of them, but there would have been a lot of special meetings and emergency meetings because there's other things going on. I'm just saying that. But Maureen did some research, and I'll let her speak on that, and our CEO.
Right. Yeah, if I may, upon discussion of this, because I think that last summer was our first summer that we didn't have regularly scheduled council meetings. So I did call neighboring municipalities, and majority of them do not have scheduled meetings during the summer.
No. Council, did you go?
I'm still opposed to it.
Yeah, no,
Just-
everybody want their decision.
Noted that, our municipality, again, runs 12 months out of the year, not 10. Staff, is held to an expectation. We're held to an expectation throughout the community. And we have 2 full pages of items here tonight. It's hard for me to believe that come July 1st, there's nothing till September. I find it hard to believe. And I'll be that guy, no one's gonna like me for it, but I get it summertime and I get people want time away and everyone deserves time away. But you still have an obligation to do it.
And we're not afraid to call this special meeting when required. But it might not be on a Monday, it might be on a Thursday. That's better for what's coming in. That's like, application comes in, there's a time frame of 10 days. If they don't meet that 10 days, it's hard to get it on the agenda. That's what it is. But I understand where you're coming from.
So calling special meetings is more productive than having regular meetings.
During the summer, that other municipalities are doing the same thing, yes.
You're saying you want to have the regular meeting and the council, the committee of council meeting.
There's no more committee of council. It's all regular meetings now, yeah. Councilor Shalom.
A question, your worship, when a special meeting is called, can there be more than one particular item of business?
We have been doing that, yes.
There can be, and I did clarify that, this summer, just, you just can't, if you're gonna have a regular meeting, you should call a regular meeting for that, but you can have more than one topic on a special meeting.
So it could be, for example, we're dealing with all zoning requests or
It can be zoning.
law changes, that kind of thing. So it is limiting. I'm trying to see both sides of it, your worship, because I sympathize with what Councilor Jager is saying. With other organizations I've been with, sometimes we did break completely for the summer. Other times we just cut the number of meetings by half and instead of 2 we went to 1. Because the benefit to having a regular meeting would be A, it's scheduled, you know it's coming. B, you can have pretty well anything on the agenda. You don't have.
A special meeting you can too, am I correct?
Yeah, we clarified that this summer.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's not what I just understood.
No, she said you can have more than one
Yeah,
item.
you can have more than one item on a special
More
meeting.
one item, but they have to be the very type of item.
No,
No, in this summer, Counselor Charlebois, during our special meetings, we did pass matters of business for department heads, and then we had bylaws on the same meeting.
So if that's the case, then the benefit of having special meetings is that best choice could be made when there's availability of council, members of council and of staff. Because obviously we can't have a meeting if we don't have a clerk.
Yeah.
Which could be problematic.
Yeah. And we are in the process of training, somebody else is being trained to take the clerks when the clerk's not around. Councilor Jager.
So do we have less business to go through in the summer?
No, I'm not saying that. We're saying we're still gonna continue business, but it's up to council, whatever council wants to do.
And again, I'm not trying to be difficult.
No, I
right?
understand that.
But we've ran, right? And now for the last year, we've been saying town's going to grow. Town's going to prosper. New things are coming. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Usually when you have growth, you gotta work harder. There's longer hours, there's more meetings. And I just don't see how we do that when we don't have regular meetings through the summer. Take department heads, for example, they want to plan their summer vacation. They want time away. What I guarantee you, everyone wants time away. But you have things bring on the docket. Maybe it's not important to certain people, but maybe it's important to somebody else. So now we're always stuck, well, does it merit even a special meeting? Do I have to call a special meeting? And then who's available for that special meeting? And then, oh, well, next Monday, yeah, you'll have a special meeting. Well, what if that department head, that's the Monday he's off then?
But I'm just from experience, department heads off, they're off and they miss meetings. I'm just saying, they don't have, most of them, I don't think do their scheduling around meetings as much as we think, but I could be wrong. I'm not putting nobody under, but it's whatever council wants to do. So I respect either way, whatever the vote goes, I'll respect the decision of council, of course. Councilor Shalom.
Could we perhaps consider accepting the proposed meeting schedule up to the end of June 2024? And we could have a little bit more conversation to figure out what we want to do for the summer months.
Cause the way Councilor Jiguer is saying that, like, if people are gonna schedule their holidays, you might as well just, you know what I mean? Might as well make the decision tonight, I think, and, cause people get Councilor Jiguer's point, I understand what he's saying too. So I think the wait wouldn't be fair to staff if they are, or councilors are trying to plan a vacation. Councilor Jiguer.
Could there be a compromise to where we had even one scheduled meeting for July and one for August?
I'm up for anything, whatever you guys want.
I understand. I did some research myself and I must say, I do get a little irritated sometimes when I hear this is what other municipalities are doing, because we tend to sometimes take what we want out of what other municipalities are doing. Yeah, and then we come up with our own out of a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and a little bit from there. We're taking what we think is the best operations of everyone.
Yeah.
But for your 16 years in council, how many of them did you guys have meetings in the summer? Because I talked to previous
Oh,
councils.
we did.
You guys did.
Yeah.
Right? Therefore,
I used to have 2 meetings a month and 3 meetings every other month.
Right, so I would.
So we can even go back if people want 3 meetings a month and 2 meetings during the summer. It's whatever council wants. to do.
I would like to just see something planned for July and something planned for August, so that people can maybe plan around.
Fair, you know,
That's what
if that's what council wants, that's what council shall.
I would support their Councilor Jiguer on that.
Yeah. So what dates would you guys like to add? Because we're about to get this out. So what days would you guys like to add?
As a department head, I prefer that option because for planning files, we're limited in time.
Okay.
And, you know, they have to be done by 90 days.
Okay. So should we have 2 meetings in the summer, like July and August?
I believe you should because the
Okay.
planning files we can't, and
Okay.
someday we're gonna get our fingers slapped.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys want to go back to the two. Go, Councilor Jiguer.
Like, again, I would have supported the hybrid, but I think it's important to also, you know, to listen to some of the other suggestions here. We do have regulations that we have to follow, and sometimes it's hard maybe to do so if we don't know when our next meeting.
Okay.
You know, I guess you could just plan your regular meetings, and for your second meeting in July, if there was really nothing to put on the dock, you could always cancel the meeting.
Yeah, okay. So you're suggesting that we go 2 meetings a month then for file, okay. So we'll vote on that, if council wants to vote on that. Oh, go ahead,
I
Steve.
think we have our default. We did it all year, so when I came in here.
Yeah.
Last year was something which new, which.
And maybe it didn't
was
work.
a suggestion from administration, we are indifferent.
Yeah.
Whether we go the whole year, we are still here.
Yeah.
We do our way. This was just to accommodate the councils, their timing and planning. So if it doesn't work, and we want to go back to
the old way.
Yeah, still we hold the power.
That's
It's up
right.
to council.
That's right.
We are not, you are not doing it just because administration wanted you to do it. No, it was just to accommodate council, your schedules and vacations and everything. But now if you want, yes, we are paid here to work.
That's right.
And that's why we are here. So it's not about us, it's about you. I just want to make it clear.
Well,
So
after that, then I would just vote to have just regular meetings.
Yeah, so what I'm gonna suggest a couple of dates if you don't mind. So can we go for July 8th and 22nd?
I'm not available, no, I'm just.
So July 8th and 22nd, okay? And how about August the 5th and 26th? Oh, that's a holiday, so it has to be the 12th and 26th. So August 12th and 26th. Got those 2 dates?
Would you like the motion reread with
Yeah.
the same mover and
Yes,
seconder? Okay. So moved by Councillor Jiguer, seconded by Councillor Charlebois. The 2024 council meeting schedule is hereby adopted with the addition of regular meetings on July 8th and 22nd and August 12th and 26th, at 6 p.m.
All in favor? Carried. Third. And then the sponsorship for Mrs. Shields, Miss Shields, I should say. Mover and a seconder. Councilor Jiguer and Councilor Trello.
Moved by Councillor Jiguer, seconded by Councillor Charlebois. That council authorize staff to proceed with a sponsorship for Colora Shields to attend dance training with Be Discovered in the amount of $500.
Can I ask the treasurer how much we have in our kitty?
We can accommodate $500.
We have $500 left? Okay, is that taps us out or?
Yeah.
So how much, so we're tapped out at 500. The council want to go ahead and do that or? Can I get somebody to suggest something? Councilor Shalom suggests?
Well, if we don't anticipate any more requests until we pass our next budget, then we should be okay. I think that, now I'm curious, I'm gonna have to go revisit the budget, the proposed budget to see what we're budgeting for, sponsorships for next year. I know it's been a little bit tight, but
So what you're suggesting, sorry?
I'm okay with the recommendation, given that the money is there and B, we're going to be soon passing a new budget within 30 days.
Yeah, and the treasurer did confirm we have that amount of money. Councilor Jiguer?
I'd just like to make maybe a side comment, we're starting to see, I'll say, more and more requests of donations coming through, and not saying it's a bad thing. People are going out in our community and they're doing things, but I think we need to start working on some wording on what our donation money is for, and that you have to check off boxes to be eligible for donations. Just as a general, because I could see us starting to get more and more and more requests for donations, and I want to support everyone in the community. I want everyone to be able to go to do something, and obviously this individual has a passion for what she's about to embark on, and I hope for success. Just I think for next year's budget, we need to come up with some criteria on what it is that money is for.
So, yeah.
And to check off those boxes.
Maybe the treasury department can come up with something.
Just.
Now, does this open us up to, let's say, a kid that plays hockey out of town there? Because I know a lot of kids that are playing hockey out of town.
Everybody can
Like,
come
they
right now.
have sponsors. They can come here and.
And you guys already, I know I was away at a meeting and you guys got sponsored somebody else in it. It's something you've been doing. The treasurer got something like that?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it would be a good idea to do that, and next year we will put something up on the website, how to, criteria of qualification.
So for our next meeting, can you bring something to our council meeting, December 18th? So council can approve it?
Sure, okay.
That way we can go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Is that okay with council? So we can approve it for the next year? Okay. So all in favor? For $500? Carried. Sorry about that. Okay, for the tree lighting ceremony at Anson Park, can I get a mover in a second? Councilor Trombley. Councilor Trombley, Councilor Sheldon. There you go.
Moved by Councillor Tremblay, seconded by Councillor Charlebois. That council approves the closure of Veterans Drive from Cambridge Avenue to Devonshire Avenue on December 16th for a tree lighting ceremony at Anson Park, with the condition that written notice, which includes the event date, time, location, and the route map, is provided to the Cochrane District EMS, the Ontario Provincial Police, and the Erica Falls Fire Department for their information at least 15 days prior to the event date, and that Public Works assist by providing barricades for this closure.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Already did that, right? Yes. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Sorry about that. Corpus Recreation, grant, can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Tremblay and Councillor Shellable.
Moved by Councillor Tremblay, seconded by Councillor Charlebois, that staff proceed with providing the Corpus Recreation Association with a letter in support of an application for a grant to redo the boards on the outdoor rate.
All in favor? Carried.
Mayor,
Yes.
just on Mr. Charrette's letter here. Can somebody reach out to him and see what grant he applied for? Because I know our outdoor rink on TP is in dire need of some help.
Director of Recreation, can you speak on that?
So I'm gonna, without knowing for sure which one he applied for, I'm assuming it's the community engagement one, because I'm currently going through the same one with our roof.
Okay.
And I know there's a phase 2 application or a stage 2 along with that as well, okay? So that's what I'm assuming, I don't know for sure. With regards to the TP rink specifically, we are having discussions within our department on seeing what we can do internally to get that into working condition, compliant for this winter. So our goal is to still have it up this winter. At the same time, absolutely agree with you that I would love to apply for funding for all our rinks. Ultimately, even things like creative outdoor programming with our skating oval, like that we try to do on our baseball field, of course, weather dependent. So there's definitely an opportunity there, but Councillor Giguère, without knowing 100%, I assume it's the community engagement and OHFC grant.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Can we move on to the Phenom request for increase? Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Tremblay and Councillor Shellable.
Moved by Councillor Tremblay, seconded by Councillor Charlebois. Whereas the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities, Phenom, recognize the urgent need for physicians in Northern Ontario as it is experiencing a shortage of trained physicians and specialist physicians. Whereas life expectancy of Northern residents is more than 2 years lower than the Ontario average, and mental health and addictions are at a 4 times higher rate. Whereas 1 in 8 Northern residents does not have access to a family doctor, and many must travel long distance to access healthcare services, representing the failure of Northern Ontario healthcare. Whereas communities in Northern Ontario require access to equitable healthcare, especially undeserved rural, Indigenous, and Francophone communities. Whereas in April of 2022, the government announced an unprecedented medical expansion for NOSM University's medical programs. And whereas the current base funding rates for the Northern School of Medicine University have not been increased sufficiently to accommodate growth and expansion, therefore be it resolved that Phenom strongly requests the provincial government grant NOSM University's request for a permanent increase in annual base funding by 4 million before the end of the fiscal year, so it can continue to deliver on the mandate that the Conservative government initially established in response to the needs of Northern municipalities. Further be it resolved that a copy of this motion be forwarded to Premier Doug Ford, Minister of Health, and Deputy Premier Sylvia Jones, Minister of Colleges and Universities Jill Dunlop, MPPs Greg Rickford, Vic Fideli, George Peary, Ross Romano, Kevin Holland, Association of Municipalities of Ontario, Northern Ontario School of Medicine University, Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities, Northern Ontario Academic Medicine Association, and the leaders of the opposition parties of Ontario.
Any comments or questions? Everybody hear that clearly?
Want to read that over?
All in favor? Carried. Sorry.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to be. Long-term care act, can I get a mover and a seconder? Councilor Shallaball. And Councilor Trump.
Moved by Councillor Charlebois, seconded by Councillor Tremblay. Be it resolved that council support Bill 21, amends to the Residents' Bill of Rights set out in Section 3 of Fixing Long-Term Care Act 2021 by adding the right of residents not to be separated from their spouse upon admission, but to have accommodation made available for both spouses so they may continue to live together.
Any comments or questions? All in favor? Carried. Motion which prior notice was given is nil. Mayor's report. It was a busy month again. Like everybody else around the table, everybody was busy, council and staff. I attended 2 Canada Nickel meetings in Timmins with other mayors around the area. That was very productive and there's a lot of good things happening with Canada Nickels. That's very encouraging for our municipality. It's going to be creating a lot of jobs in the next few years. I also attended Nelly Lake emergency that we've been declared, and that we're finally coming to a close on that file, so that looked good. I also attended the Remembrance Day ceremonies. I had went to a supper, and then Remembrance Day itself, I went to their ceremonies. I appreciate Councilor Shallaball being the MC for the Remembrance Day supper. They did a good job at the Remembrance Day ceremonies also. And his wife is the president of the Legion, and Kathy did an excellent job with her crew. I also attended my CDSAB meetings, 2 of them. Porcupine Health Unit meetings also. I also attended a NEOMA meeting with Ryan Finner, our Recreation Director. And I also attended several other meetings for other town business. So I appreciate all the support of council and staff. Now we'll go to council reports. I'll turn it over to Councilor Shallaball.
Thank you, Worship. I attended the mixed board meeting on behalf of Councilor Lefebvre as his deputy, given he was away. And the month of November is just flown right by. I'm involved with the Christmas telethon, the Bill Harkins Junior Card. I know that has nothing to do specifically with council, but it's a big fundraiser. The telethon that was held this past Saturday to help those less fortunate of our community. On Saturday night, plus a little bit that came in the last day or so, we fundraised we're probably a little over $10,000 now, with some more corporate and institutional support coming in the near future. We're pretty sure, as it has traditionally. Having been in contact with some people in the know, people that are involved with the food bank, just to point out that their business, the demand for their services has gone up by 50%. So we expect probably a roughly equivalent increase in the number of requests for assistance from the telethon for the vouchers. So individuals who may not have had the opportunity to donate to the Bill Harkins Junior Card Santa Claus Fund charity to help those less fortunate. You're still able to do it. If you look them up on social media, you'll find all the information you need. We thank all those who contributed locally and outside the community, and all the musicians, because they did a fabulous job. It's a credit to the community.
Thank you. Councilor Jiguer.
Thank you, Your Worship. As most of my counterparts here, I attended all my regular meetings. Also starting to get to know some of the new committees that I've been appointed to. I also would like to apologize for not making the Remembrance Day celebration on the 11th. As I'm doing something new at my life. I'm actually working some Saturdays at my regular job, a little, different. So actually I was away, but I'd like to thank everyone for what they did there. The one thing I'm still just trying to, I guess, I struggle as a counselor right now is, and as Councilor Shelver alluded to, there's a 50% increase going to our local food banks. Every committee that was here tonight seeking funds, most of them are buildings that we own, and that most of the funds that they want is just for general upkeep, right? And with the cost of everything going the way it is, it's I'm excited to see our next budget meeting for next year, because it's how are we going to get all of this done with keeping our bank accounts afloat and keeping things where they need to be. And it's probably become my biggest concern and my biggest focus here until we get the next budget passed.
And on that note, we have a good council. We're not afraid to debate, and that's a good, healthy thing. And we have a good staff, and we're gonna come up with a good plan and stick it together and come up with new ideas. That's why we have 7 people around the table. So I appreciate that. Councilor Tremblay.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I attended in Events Committee meeting November 2nd and 23rd. October 23rd, we had a special meeting at 4:30. Emergency meeting November 17th, 4:30. Committee whole meeting November 13th at 6:30. Special meeting same day at 5:30. And another special meeting at 8:03 that same day. And that's it for me for that one.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to closed session. You can get somebody to move in second and go in the close. Councilor Jiguer and Councilor Shelby.
Moved by Councillor Jiguer, seconded by Councillor Charlebois, that council go into a closed session at 8:42 PM to discuss the following: personal matters about an identifiable individual, Municipal Act Section 239 2B, concerning a property standards order.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Can you get a mover and a second that we rise from close? Councilor Jiguer, Councilor Tremblay.
Moved by Councillor Jiguer, seconded by Councillor Tremblay, that council arise from closed session at 8:56 PM with the following report. Staff received direction regarding a property standards notice.
All in favor? Carried. Well, we adjourn at 8:57 PM. Councilor Jiguer and Councilor Shelby.
Moved by Councillor Jiguer, seconded by Councillor Charlebois, that this meeting adjourns at 8:57 PM.
All in favor? Carried. Good night, everyone.